Yeah, I'm almost done with this.
And you hear this.
Oh, yeah.
Good. And everything is in order. Word of warning, we're getting thunderstorms tonight. So that means you'll have thunderstorms in, 2 days?
Probably. Yeah, if it's going the right way, yeah.
Oh, I have some ideas. I've been thinking a lot about how to fix our problem. Hey, Xanderist. Fix our problem with declining supporters and maybe see if we can turn that around to more supporters.
Okay.
And what I was thinking about is seeing if you would be interested in doing maybe a Discord chat night where we get on Twitch and just open up Discord and have people call in even and ask questions.
I'd be down for that.
Play in chat or something like that for an hour or so every week.
Yeah, I'd be down. That'd be cool.
And in order to get in, we would turn on Discord for Patreon. And if you want to participate, you have to be a patron.
Seems legit.
Because we already have a bunch of patrons, and it's really simple to enable our current Discord channel, but that would mean turning our Discord channel into our patron channel. So, and if everybody's cool with that, I don't think anybody would have a problem with it, but
I don't think so.
And also that may also mean that we need to be in Discord a little more every so often. So because there's actually a chat function and people may be having more conversations over there than we do now. So that's part of the problem with doing it. So I say problem in that it's a good problem to have, but it would mean we would have to change how we do things a little bit.
Yeah.
So that means additional work on our end.
I could go back to playing at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. And this isn't last minute. This is an hour later because we had things going on with dragons and slaying them. No, not slaying them.
I hope not. Oh my gosh, that'd be bad.
Oh, look, Awaken X is in the chat.
Nice.
Must mean that we're late enough for him.
That's right. Let's see.
Good deal. Hey, look, LOTI podcast just went live.
I know those guys.
Yeah. Warcraft? Yeah, we could play Warcraft on those other days. 1 p.m. New Zealand. So you're not almost exactly 12 hours away from us. I keep thinking that you are. So 7 hours behind. Well, yeah, I've been playing Slaying the Dragons. I have. You're 7 hours. No, 13 hours ahead. That's what it is.
13 hours ahead.
What? Yeah, 13. So he's it's tomorrow for him. So are you ready? Are you done yet?
Almost. I don't know what's going on here.
You haven't beat this guy yet?
He turned it around because I misplayed.
It's Tuesday, 1 p.m. You mean Wednesday? Because if it's Tuesday, then that means you're behind us. Huh. Okay, it is Wednesday. Okay, good. And I hit a milestone in Wild today.
Yeah.
I hit 200,000 gold.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I had it at one time, but then I bought my Traveler's Tundra Mammoth so I could transmog on the run and spend more money.
I thought you had a lot more than that. I know Rez does.
Rez has a ton. Yeah, Rez is the one with the cash. He's got the massive cash flow going on.
Well, my goal is to get to 300 so that I can start buying tokens.
Ah, yes.
But then continue on and try and get to 1 million. So, and then after that, we'll see what happens.
What's the cost of tokens right now?
Around 107,000.
Oof, they're still high.
Oh, well, in Europe, it's over 200,000.
Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm pushing towards. The thing is, too, I want to get multiple tokens for the fam here too as well.
Yeah.
Icy Shock. So Xandros is Icy Shock because Twitch, it was already taken.
I gotcha. Yeah. All right. I am ready.
Are you really?
Yep. Just moving some windows around. The what?
And I am correct in that the brawl is gone on Sunday. That last brawl.
I'm sorry?
The last brawl, the 100th brawl is gone, right? On Wednesday? On Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday was the last day. Yeah, it wasn't anything.
They should have ran that one twice. 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so, too.
I mean, come on. It's the 100th brawl. Just... It was a big one.
Yeah.
Do you need your glasses? You're squinting.
No, they're in my truck. No, I was yawning.
Okay.
We had field day today, and I am wiped out.
Okay, so you're good?
Mm-hmm. Ready to go.
Okay, then. Here we go. He says he's ready. You all heard him. You're listening to Legend of the Innkeeper, the Hearthstone podcast for casual players.
You're new here. Pull up a chair by the hearth.
Welcome to Legend of the Innkeeper. I'm Vastidius.
And I am Espo.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. There's some fun stuff happening, neat things going on, but we're back. We had a good time last week. I had lots of good feedback coming from different places about the conversations we had last week on new players and the new player experience. So I think there's a lot of good things came from that. I think I understand you want to talk a little more about that this week, maybe, among other things we got to talk about.
Well, I mean, not as in depth as last week, but just what I've gone through this past week with my newer accounts and my returning player accounts, and just a few little things, nothing crazy like last week.
Yeah, last week was really pretty packed episode after we actually really got into it. So, but yeah, I will go first this week on what I did. Hearthstone-wise, because I think mine is a little different than yours.
Okay.
What I did this week was Brawl. That is all I did. I did not play Actually, I played a couple regular games, but mostly I played Brawl. And the best part about it is I did my best to play every class this week, because we've talked in the past about some of these different brawls where it was a different experience depending on which class you chose. I guess you could say this week was a little bit of a different experience depending what class you chose. And we'll talk about that in more detail in a moment. But yeah, I said, you know what? I want to make sure I play every single class and get the full experience for this one, especially because of what was happening. So that was my focus there. And then after that, I was playing WoW, a lot of WoW. So, but other things too, life happens, different things going on life-wise. But yeah, that was pretty much my week. So, what about you?
Well, I attempted to finish as many quests as I can and open as many packs as I can on as many accounts as I could. And I pretty much accomplished that. I ended up, I didn't get a total, but it's well over 30 packs of cards across, I think, 4 accounts.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's including my main. My goal was to get the Tavern Brawl opened up on each of my accounts, because this week's Tavern Brawl, like you said, was cool. It was one of the ones that I really, really liked, because it was just so different, and it brought back some good memories.
That's true.
So I managed to open it up on 2 accounts, and ended up getting a few legendaries on a couple of those accounts, and just had a lot of fun. It was really cool and gained some knowledge. I mean, it brought back, I guess, some stuff from episodes in the past when we talked about, as a new player, what cards should you craft first? As a new player, what should you change out of those basic decks as you gain newer cards?
Sure.
And it was pretty cool to revisit all that, and it brought back some good memories of past episodes when we were telling people stuff. So good stuff. But that's all I did. I hardly played any WoW. Like after the show last week, I think we ran through our 5 Heroes of the Storm matches, and then we did. I think I may have done a few days there where I helped my friends. I got flying in Legion now in Warcraft.
Oh,
and I helped a few of my friends.
I was trying to beat you to the
jump. Oh yeah, I got it about a month ago, but I was jumping around, flying one of my friends. Well, Matt, that I work with, that's in the guild with us. I was flying him around the Broken Shore, completing world quests to get those that rep with the Legion fall. So we were doing that. And I think we did that like 2 nights where I jumped on my Sandstone Drake and he jumped on, and I dropped him off and killed a bunch of mobs, picked him up, dropped him off, Yeah. So, but
good deal.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Lots going on with the farm here, but that's for another podcast.
Yeah. Well, news-wise, Blizzard did announce that the HCT Spring Championship is coming up in July. We got July 7th through the 9th. The championship's going to be in Shanghai, China. So the top 4 players from each of the region's spring playoffs are going to qualify for the spot in this championship. So we'll have a total of 16 teams playing against 16 players playing against each other for a top prize pool of $250,000. And those locations have been announced. So if you want to check out the post in the show notes, Blizzard also has that on their blog site. Those playoff tournaments are happening in Europe on May 20th through the 21st. In America, May 27th through the 28th. And in Asia Pacific, June 2nd through 3rd. And there's a lot of locations all over those regions that you can attend these if you want to participate. But all the details are on Blizzard's site, and you can check that out. This is very similar to the HCT Bahama championships that happened for the Winter Championship back a couple weeks ago. And I wonder if they're going to do the same thing they did back then, where you get to choose your, once you've been narrowed down to what players are going to participate, if they're going to do where you get to pick your players and then get some free packs as a result of that. We will see as we get closer to that event. So something we'll look forward to, because that really means that every weekend, or pretty much every weekend starting this weekend, you're going to have some form of a Hearthstone tournament to watch, participate in on Twitch or in your region if you're in those areas where they're going to be participating. So check it out. You might be able to go down the street and watch a bunch of players come in and play, especially some pro players that you might have rooted on in the future or in the past events. So,
is it just me, or
yes, just you?
Okay.
Or,
well, it seems like there's less places.
Yes,
this time
there are. We talked about this last week, where there was a lot of people complaining. Some of the pros were complaining about it. That some of these locations have been consolidated. Like, for example, there were locations in Boston and Washington, D.C. Those players are going to have to travel now to Montreal, I believe it was, to do their tournaments.
Wait, what? Who's going to travel to Montreal?
Anybody who was playing in Washington, D.C. and Boston.
Why wouldn't they go to Fairfax, Virginia?
Oh, there's a Fairfax site now. You're right.
Yeah,
that site wasn't there originally.
Yeah. I'm just upset because my boys. I thought this would be like a thing that Hero Power would do, because I want to say they did all the. Oh, they just did the preliminaries. They didn't do the playoffs. Correct. That's right. They did a preliminary. So I guess that's different. So that's why they didn't get this. Okay. Well, maybe that's why. Okay. All right. So the preliminaries have more spaces. The playoffs do not. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So this is just getting down and dirty with the final few. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. I was concerned. I was like, wow, that stinks, because those guys really put on a good show.
Yeah, they do. And it looks like what they're showing out here is on their site is you can see the current standings, showing the current players and their rankings based on their previous performances. And right now in America's, Muzzy is leading the pack with Astrogation, Zale, Frozen, Sidonia, Amnesiac, Shoop, Raze, Rusty, and What? All in the top 10. There's a lot of other names you'll probably recognize in there, like Dog is sitting at number 19. BB Guns at 26. Joster, who we've talked to on the show, was sitting at number 30 right now.
Nice.
So pretty cool. You get a lot of players in there that are trying to beat out the other ones to get to be the top 4 to go to the championship. So cool stuff. Yep. But if you want to see the locations, it's a link on the show notes for you to go check that out.
Very cool.
And then there was an interview this week on IGN with Mike Dene and Peter Wayland. And they actually had a good conversation about how they designed and what the thought process was around designing the Angora Legendaries. And this is pretty cool. If you want to check it out, there's a link also in the show notes for this. But just an example of what they talked about is, let's look at one version of Elise the Trailblazer that they tinkered with. What they described is that she was originally, her text was discover a quest. Once the quest was discovered, you get a package of helper cards that would help you complete that go into your deck. And then what that would do is, as you played the game, you would draw these cards, and that would help you try and get some of these quests that are like the Warrior quest or the Rogue quest. However, it made all the quests feel, quote unquote, less cool. So they ended up not going that route. What she ended up with was you get a unopened Ungoro pack put in your deck. Well, that was originally going to be the Priest quest reward, but it didn't feel good enough to be the Priest request. Priest Quest reward. So they ended up putting that instead on Elise. So that, among other stories, are things you'll find in this article. I say stories, but just discussions about what happened, how they got to where they did in the end. So if you want to check that out, it's a pretty good little article to talk about those things when it came to, if you want to see what it takes to create some of these cards, it's a really good discussion from some of the designers. So pretty cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then most importantly, I think the news we've been wanting to really talk about, I'm most excited about, I suppose smiling and nodding, is Blizzard just announced today some new features coming soon to the game near you. The first feature is called Friends Forever. And when this update arrives, you'll be able to complete quests in friendly challenges. You challenge a friend, and those games that you play against a friend will credit you towards most of your quests. And we say most of your quests because there are some quests out there that, for example, require you to play versus the innkeeper, or require you to watch a friend play a match and win. You can't do those while you're competing against a friend. So those just don't work. But almost every other quest that has some type of function will work in this situation. So, for example, play 10 hunter cards, or whatever. Those types of quests will work perfectly fine while you're playing against your friends. And I love how they finished this announcement. The last line of the announcement says, so now you'll have a reason to make friends with a recent opponent that isn't just to send them a compliment. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what most people were doing.
This is something that Rez and I have talked about time and time and time and time again. Constantly talking about, why can't we complete quests with friends? That one week that they did it, it was awesome. Just phenomenal. So good. I loved it. So
well, they mentioned that specific week. They said that after that was a brawl that week that you were able to complete your quests while you're playing with friends, competing against friends. And said they got so much good feedback from that. People asking to have that more frequently. They said, well, why don't we just make it a permanent thing? Which is a very good move. I'm glad they did this. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did it right. Now if they could just figure out a way to get new players into playing with other friends quicker.
What? You mean a new player experience? So that Espo doesn't have to spend an entire week playing 4 different accounts to try and get them past all the intro stuff just so that he can play Tavern Brawl with 4 friends?
That's right. Dude, I got big plans. I got big plans.
Apparently so.
Super excited about this. This is awesome. We've talked about this forever, and finally they're doing it. So this is a long time coming.
Well, I'd say one of the most important features, though, is the next one. I love this. Golden and non-golden cards will now stack in your deck list. It won't list it as a second card. Didn't that annoy you whenever you had to create your list and you had a golden card and a regular card sitting next to each other, so stacking together? Didn't that bother you?
No, I don't like this because now I'm going to have to look through and I'm going to have to type. Because before I would just go through and anytime I saw a golden, I was like, oh, there it is, slash. Dusted immediately.
Well, let me correct this.
I actually have to pay attention.
No, you don't. Because here's the difference. This doesn't happen in your collection. This only happens in deck lists. So when you're creating a deck...
Oh, deck lists. Yes. Okay, my bad. I read that wrong. Okay.
Yeah, your collection will still show a golden copy and a regular copy.
Okay.
It's just when you're putting them in the deck, you're not going to have a golden card and a regular card. You're going, why do I only have one of that card? Oh, wait, there's a golden version. That's why I have 2 cards. Separate lines. Now they'll stack and it will be golden, even though you have one that's not golden.
I recant my statement. I had read this wrong. It was stack in deck lists, not stack in collection. There we go.
Correct.
So, and I agree. Like anytime I'm, if I do happen to have a golden, like basic card and I only have one of them for some reason because I didn't get the class to level 60 or whatever. It's
because you haven't
I
opened
agree with you.
a
It's weird.
second one or crafted a second one. You happen to get a golden and you happen to get a single regular one. And so you don't want to dust the golden until you get another regular one. Okay, fine.
I dust the golden and make two.
Yeah, that's right.
I did. As soon as we got that Volcanosaur, that's what I did. I dusted it and made two. I had two Ungoro cards before you did.
That's true. That's right. Because I couldn't bear to do it.
Do you still have the golden Volcanosaur?
Of course. Absolutely.
Nice.
In fact, I have that, and I have two regular ones that I opened. So I have three.
Of course you do. Yeah.
Okay. But actually, this is probably the most important feature that they're adding in this. And they did say that.
No, friendly.
Well, yeah.
Come on, man. This is cool, but this friendly. Is really... Yeah.
So they're adding a new feature called Sharing is Caring. And I see a lot of, this seems very friendly update is what they're doing. They're adding deck list importing and exporting, so to speak. So you will soon, and let me say this, they did say the first update that we're talking about, the friend sharing, is going to be in the next update, and that this one may not make it to the next update, it might be the following update. But you will soon be able to easily copy and share deck lists with this feature. And so what you're able to do is you are able to click on a full deck. And when you click on that deck and then click on the hero portrait, you're going to see a copy button. And when you click on this copy button, it's going to copy a deck list to your clipboard. And the cool thing is that deck list is a text file, essentially, that lists out the class, the format, the season, and then it lists out all the cards in a nice, clean format. And then at the very bottom of that, it shows a share. It's a cryptic code is going to be on that. And you take that code and you can paste it into any of your social media options or other locations or even email or whatever to your friends. And they can take that code. And when they copy it, it goes onto their clipboard. And when you load up Hearthstone, Hearthstone's going to say, hey, you've got a valid code in your clipboard. Do you want to create a new deck with that? And you can just say, yes, I do. And it will import it auto-magically into your game client. And then there you go. You've got your deck. And it even comes with a name and everything. So you'll be able to do that very easily from the game. The cool thing about it, too, is that if you don't have all the cards, just like it does with the Blizzard recipes, it'll fade out those cards you don't have. And when you click on those faded cards, it will tell you, it will come up and give you suggest replacements for those cards based on the cards you do have. So it's very simple to use. And you can also import deck lists to Tavern Brawls. So that's going to be a new feature coming with this update.
Very cool.
Now, I've already seen some of the sites. For example, Hearthstone has said they will support this feature. So you will be able to import these codes onto your Hearthstone account as well. And that will bring in that deck list and generate it, and you can save it to your profile to share it there as well. I assume what they'll do is probably update the Innkeeper app so that that is supported right out of the app. So that'll be fun to have that. Good stuff. I'm excited. That we're seeing things that are what are they called? Quality of life updates. Things to make the game easier for you to do things like share, to complete quests. These are all quality of life updates. And well received. I think these are really good things. Blizzard is hearing the community calling for some of these things, and they are working on these things and getting them done. So thank you, Blizzard. Good stuff.
Oh, I agree. Such good stuff.
Okay. Then let's talk about the Brawl. We've already hinted to it already, but
dude,
go for it. This is good.
This Brawl definitely hit it on the 100th. So with the 100th Tavern Brawl, we had a little celebration, and the way we celebrated was each class had its own Tavern Brawl theme. So obviously we've had a ton of Tavern Brawls in the past. Actually, we've had how many have we had total? It's not 99 because they had like,
Right.
it's probably in the 50s. I would say 40 or 50 different Tavern Brawls.
Probably so.
And what they've done is they've matched up a specific Tavern Brawl deck with each class. So I'm just going to go through them real quick. So if you chose Druid, then you will be playing Idols of Azeroth. Your entire deck is filled with Raven Idols. And for those of you that don't know, that's a 1-mana spell that says choose one, discover a minion or discover a spell. So let's say you chose Druid. Well, you could go up against the Hunter, which is the next one I'm going to talk about, which the Tavern Brawl that coincides with that is Randomonium, where your entire deck's contents are randomized, and so are the costs. And it's
that was
pretty
a crazy
cool because
brawl.
the costs, right? The costs change, and I had totally forgotten about this one until I started playing, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be tough. And then I was like, whoa, wait a second. No, it isn't, because you got these 7 cost minions that now only cost 4, or now only cost, it was
1.
really, really cool. Yeah.
Hey, one thing that was cool I did like about this is that whenever you started your match, what they would do is it would pop up a little information box up and tell you this brawl first premiered on April blah 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 on the number 24th brawl, and what you have to do with this brawl is X, and it tells you a little bit about how to play that deck. And then when it's your player's turn to say your player's playing Randomonium, this one was featured in blah 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 month number 73, and they have this type of deck that you have to watch out for. And so I thought it was really cool because not only did it tell you what it is, but it gives you more of a timeline that says, hey, this one is the number 2 brawl that we ever did. And that was kind of cool to see where things progress along the way. So nice little touch of introductions.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Those little notes were really neat. When you chose Warrior, which was one that I chose quite often because I thought it was pretty cool, you got the Banana Brawl. So your deck is randomized.
Did you hear this was bugged at the beginning? Did you ever see the bug?
No.
Yeah, what happened is whenever you use the banana, we give it to both sides. I mean, whenever you got a banana.
Oh, wow.
Both sides got a banana. So that was a mistake. Yeah. Oops.
Oh, I thought that was the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah, no.
I was like,
wasn't.
oh, okay. Because I don't remember it being like that. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm getting a banana too. Okay, all right. So when one of your minions dies, you get a banana to celebrate. That's the correct way. When I played it, it was everyone gets bananas.
Yeah.
So, Banana Brawl. And there's 4 different kind of bananas. You had the just regular banana, which gave a minion +1/+1. You had the big banana, which gave a minion +2/+2. You had the deviant banana, which was swap a minion's attack and health. And then you had the rotten banana, which dealt 1 damage. Of course, all those are spells, which is really cool. And it was just, the Warrior was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed Warrior. I would say I played that probably second to one I'll talk about later. The next one I'll talk about is the Paladin. So Paladin, when this was the Tavern Brawl, which we saw not too long ago, it was the Servant of Yogg-Saron tryouts. There's no spells, only random minions, and the random spells are cast when you play minions. So these spells were basically like when Yogg-Saron casts spells, they were cast everywhere, just all random places, which is cool. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but this is one you wanted to play with friends. Like Rez and I would be like, hey, let's both choose Paladin and see what goes down,
Right.
So Paladin was the Servant of Yogg-Saron tryouts. Shaman was Party Portals, which came out of Karazhan. And what you got was summon minions with various portals. And you start with one of the Medivhas on your side of the board, and it says portals cost 1 less. So any card that is a portal, you got to play in your deck. And it was pretty cool. Again, we saw this when Karazhan came out. Of course, this next one was the one that I thought was that I played the most and I liked as my favorite. The Priest Clone Ball. Your deck contains 7 randomly selected legendary minions with 4 copies of each. You also get a card called Offensive Play, which is 0 mana, and it says the next legendary minion you play and all other copies cost 3 less. This is insane.
Yeah.
So I played against somebody that was playing. I was playing, I think, the Banana Brawl with Warrior, and this person was playing Priest that I was going up against. They had Ragnaros. They had, I believe it was Dr. Boom, Sylvanas, and maybe Millhouse Manastorm. Some other minion that really didn't mean anything, but it was still crazy. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Sylvanas? Really? And Ragnaros? Oh, and let's bring Dr. Boom. Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. So it just blew my mind.
I had Malcazar in one of my matches and Dr. Boom. And that match, I started out plus with 5 extra cards. I had, kind of mixed things up a little bit more too. So
I think I ended up with Malcazar one time. But yeah, Priest was bonkers. I think I had Confessor Peltris at one point, which brought out anytime you used your hero power, it brought out other legendaries. Oh my, it was just crazy. So the next one was Rogue, and it's Valera's Bag of Burgled Spells, and your deck has random spells, and of course when you cast those random spells, they summon a random minion with the same cost. So whatever cost the spell is, you get a random minion of that same cost. I saw a lot of Doomsayers. So you play a 2 mana spell, you get a Doomsayer. That was always interesting when I saw that. Warlock was your Shift Con. You start out with 3 mana crystals. Your deck is filled with randomized spells and several copies of, you guessed it, Shifter Zerus, which is a 1 mana 1/1 legendary minion, and each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a random minion. So you get all these Shifter Zeruses, and each turn they change into different minions. I played this, and I ended up throwing out 3 Shifter Zeruses on turn 1, and then I just kept on playing. I just tried to just flood the board with as many minions as I could. Just kept going face, and I ended up winning with just all these crazy minions. But I started off with 3 Shifter Zeruses, just straight to face. So that was kind of interesting. But
because you start out with the 3 extra mana crystals, it gives you a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, and a lot of people weren't really throwing anything down because they didn't want to just throw their. Well, I did. I didn't care because I was Warlock and I could draw cards later. So yeah, but I thought this Tavern Brawl was really cool. A great way to celebrate our 100th Tavern Brawl, and I wonder if these Tavern Brawls that they chose, these 9, were the 9 most popular. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think they also represented different. Some of them represented different expansions or adventures along the way too. Like we had the Kirazan specifically, and we had what else do we have? The
Servant of Yogg-Saron.
Yogg-Saron, right?
Old gods.
And then also one of those was one of the first ones we ever had. I think it was Banana Brawl. It was number 2.
Okay.
So I think they were a mix from all across the gamut, but at the same time worked well against each other. I wonder if they played with a whole bunch of these. And these were the ones that worked out the best.
So much fun.
Yeah. The good stuff, though. I had a great time with it. I ended up playing, I think, the Warlock the most because shifters are so much fun with that. And but I didn't do it your way. I actually played it the proper way, which was trying to figure out which one was the best card to throw out. But at the same time, you're like, I want to play that card now, but no, I won't have enough mana for that one, and I have to wait next turn any changes. So,
yeah.
Oh, well, it was a welcome experience. I had fun. Now, only thing I wish they would have done on this one is made it one extra week so that we had time to play with it more. So,
right?
Sad.
Yeah, you and I were talking that before the show, how it would have been nice to have it 2 weeks long, or actually a solid week long, where it went Wednesday to Wednesday instead of just Wednesday to Sunday.
Yeah,
that
gives
would
a
have
little
been
bit more
nice
time to play
too.
with it. Because I know I would have liked to have done a few more before it all ended. So
yeah,
I always feel bad about talking about these things after they're already over. It's like, yeah, this was so much fun. Too bad you missed it. You know, kind of almost like we need to change it to Wednesday or Thursday so that we can talk about it, so that you have a couple of days to play with it. But yeah, it's just where it falls just right, you know. Well, one thing I did want to mention is, we've been kind of mentioning the meta update with Vicious Syndicate doing their data reaper report. And I just wanted to mention real quickly the decks that are kind of tier 1 this week, because things have shifted a little bit and things continue to literally there's no deck, no class being played more than 10% of any other class, except for one, which is Warrior right now, but that's barely one of the top ones. But the deck that's number 1 right now that's been doing really well on the ladder is the Murloc Paladin. Secondary is Secret Mage. In fact, Secret Mage is being played a lot in the lower rankings under rank 5 out to Legendary. So if you want to compete there, Secret Mage is actually doing really well. And a lot of the pro players are taking Secret Mage and tweaking it in little ways, making it even more effective. So there's a lot of decks out there that you could check out if you were interested in playing Secret Mage. But Murloc Paladin, Secret Mage, Pirate Warriors number 3, and Mid-Range Paladin has done really well on the boards too. So I left a link in the show notes if you want to go read the rest of the report. I mean, it's a long report, lots of stats, lots of numbers, lots of good stuff. But right now, I think the top win rate on any deck is 52%, according to their information that they've collected so far. So there's not a lot of number 1 matches, number 1 decks out there. They're all being played well. A lot of them spread across. So check that out. Well worth your time of reading if you want to see what's going on with the reports. So to lead into your conversation about catching up with the new player experience, I don't know if you have anything more you want to talk about. We had an email this week.
Okay.
Following up last week's show from Ben. And he says, I finished listening to this week's podcast and appreciated the summary you provided of some of the beginner tips you've mentioned before. I started playing about a year ago and have found some of your tips like Rerolling Quest. Yeah, and Rerolling Quest. Really helpful in building a decent collection. You're supposed to correct me in there.
Yeah, I'm confused why you said Rerolling Quest twice. You skipped over the fact that he mentions dusting golden cards.
Yeah, we don't want to suggest that. No.
Come on. Yes, we want to suggest that.
Okay. I thought I'd write in and mention one other strategy I came across in an article and I found helpful for me and my sister since she began playing a couple months ago. Isn't that awesome? Family
so cool.
Playing games, I think we should do that. Maybe get our families playing games away.
I think that's unheard of.
Yeah. Why would we want that, right?
Yeah, I've never heard of
that. Okay. As a casual player who doesn't want to invest much money in the game, one of the hardest things to do is to build up a big enough collection of cards to build strong decks. So to make this more feasible, the article suggested you divide up into the 9 classes into 3 different categories. For your favorite 2 or 3 classes, set that one up and keep every card you open, regardless of how valuable it seems to be at the present. For your next 3 or 4 classes, pick a decent deck and keep any rares, epics, or legendaries you need to build that deck. But dust any non-common cards beyond that. And for your least favorite classes, dust everything, except for commons, and use an online basic deck if you have to play a quest. He's followed this approach since Gadgetzan, and his sister's been using it ever since she began. And it feels brutal to open a pack with 2 rares and an epic and dust them all because they're not your top class. But it does allow you to accumulate dust rapidly enough to craft the epics and legendaries you need to have some really good decks with the classes you enjoy playing. So the main reason I thought I'd share this is because I thought it addressed one of the questions you received during the show. So thank you for the good work you're doing in the podcast. Yours, Ben.
Dude, we we had talked about this exact concept. Man, it must have been somewhere between like episode 30 and 50, where I was talking about, as a new player, and it's similar. It's not exactly what he's talking about, but I was suggesting that you choose like 2 favorite classes, and you go ahead and construct decks that you like, in those 2 classes, and then go ahead and dust like the rares and epics from other classes to build your collection up with those 2 classes. And I had mentioned that mine were, because this is the way I did it when I first started, Hunter and Warlock. And this is kind of what I was going to go into in my little section here under hints and tips tonight. I wanted to sort of expand the hints and tips section tonight to reiterate again, as a new player,
don't dust your gold.
You are coming at it. Yeah, okay. So don't listen to Vestidius. As a new player, you don't want to listen to Vestidius. You want to dust all those goldens. And when you're fresh out of the tutorial, they do throw a few quests at you. And sometimes those quests are hard to complete because they are win such and such. Well, what I've done with these new accounts that I've been bringing up, because I noticed I went back and into a few of them, and I noticed that I didn't beat all the expert AI. And as you have heard before from me or other places, if you defeat all the expert AI, you get 100 gold or a pack. I can't remember exactly. But there's many, many hidden quests in the game where you get a free pack or 300 gold. I think it's actually your 100th win gets you 300 gold or something like that. But there's all these hidden quests that you can get gold with. But what I really wanted to suggest in my hints and tips tonight was when you're fresh out of that tutorial and you're leveling up your mage, I would go ahead and replace your cards with the cards that you gain by leveling. I think the first cards that you get are Arcane Intellect. And what I would suggest is go through your deck. You've obviously played it through a few matches already in the tutorial, maybe even a few versus the AI to unlock a few other classes. Choose those cards that when you see them in your hand, you're like, oh, this card, I'm not going to play this card. Like when you lose or when you win, look at the cards in your hand. If they're really low cost and you've noticed that you're not playing them in any of your matches, take those out, put those Arcane Intellects in there, put those cards that you gain when leveling, replace them. Don't be afraid to go into your collection, even if you're not into building a deck. Don't be afraid to go in there and kind of tweak it a little bit. And one way you know how to tweak it is by looking at your hand when you're at the end of the game. And if you see a card in there that you haven't played in a couple games, or you don't really think it benefits you in any way, if you've never seen the benefits of it, switch it out with another card. 2 cards come to mind that I switch out almost immediately. As soon as I am able to, out of the tutorial, I try to fit in 2 Chillwind Yetis and 2 Senjin Shield Masters. Those are 4 cards that have gotten me a lot of wins, simply because they're sticky and they stay alive. So that 3 attack on the Senjin Shield Master is just enough to kill most minions in the early game, and that Chillwind Yeti with the 4 attack and 5 health has enough staying power and enough muscle to take out most minions and maybe even finish off a few games. So those are 2 cards that I noticed that I was putting in my decks as soon as I was able to. So that's a little hint and tip for you when you're fresh out of the tutorial. And also, if you guys are into it, or if you haven't yet, go back and look through. Again, I don't know exactly which episode it is. It may be a couple different episodes where we talk about deck building. We talk about, as a new player, what cards should you craft? What cards should you dust. And one suggestion that I have, and I've been doing this with my accounts, any chance I get, I open up the classic packs. And the reason I do that is because those cards are always going to be in standard. So I want to buy those packs, build up my classic collection. That way, that's my main collection. That's always going to be your main collection. If you have all the classic cards, then start collecting the newer cards that are in standard. And then the other cards, you can just craft as you need them. But that's really all I wanted to talk about tonight with the new player experience. And I have been having a lot of fun with my other accounts. And like I said, I was trying to get them all up to level 20 so I could play the Tavern Brawl. And I actually had a few people this week talk to me about getting Morgul the Oracle. Is that Morgul? Is that his name? Morg.
Very good.
If you do not have Morgul the Oracle, which I don't. Okay. And I think, I'd like to think I helped this listener. I helped him gain Morgul the Oracle. I first suggested that, and I did it opposite. I suggest, hey, I'll go ahead and I'll recruit you as a friend, your new account. Well, that doesn't work because then it just gets me Morgul the Oracle on my account, which I could care less if I have it on my alternate accounts. So I figured out that was wrong. So I sent him another message and I was like, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to go ahead. You need to get on your main account and you need to go down to your friends list and there should be like a little handshaking thing. It kind of looks like this with two hands shaking. Click on that. You'll get a link. Go ahead and copy that link. Then create a new email account and then send that link from your regular email account to that new email account, and then open up that new email account, click on that link, and create a Battle.net account with that new email account. Once you get that new Battle.net account, log in to Battle.net app, log into Hearthstone with that new account that you've been recruited by, and get that, I think it's combined level 10, or get one of your heroes up to level 10, one or the other. Or it may even be 20. It may be the same as Tavern Brawl. But once you do that, I think you automatically get a pack as that friend that's been recruited or that new account, and the other person gets Morgul the Oracle. So that's how you get around doing that. Now, of course, the best way to do it is just to find somebody off the street and say, hey, you look like you like Hearthstone. Here's a link. Go make an account, and then hope that they get it up to level 10 or 20, whatever it is, and then you get Morgul the Oracle, and they get a pack. So that's how that works.
Well, I did go back and look, and by the way, our deck building strategy episode, number 2.
Okay.
That was the first one.
I thought.
But then we did.
Yeah, we had other ones too, like the One Humper 2. That was the deck building strategy guide.
Yep. And then when we got into 30s, well, One Humper 2 is 11.
Okay.
This is episode number 11. When you get to episode 31 through like 39 or so in that area, we go through each of the individual classes where we're talking about you're building your first deck for the Paladin, building your first deck for the Hunter, Mage, and so on. So we did a bunch of episodes based on that strategy in between a few other things in between them.
Yeah.
And then the legendary crafting was episode number 48. So if you want to check those out, you can go back and listen to those episodes. A lot of it is still very relevant, but there are some things that have changed along the way, of course. So your mileage may vary. So,
like where we suggest to craft Sylvanas.
We did have a question come up from chat.
All right.
that asks, after you're out of the tutorial, what common neutrals could you craft? And this again is off the top of your head. So any thoughts or suggestions? We did have one of our listeners, Typhoon, said Argent Commander, Azure Drake, which has been moved to Wild, Sun Fury Protector, Sun Fury Protector, Sun Fury Protector, Knife Juggler. That's another good one.
That show was fun.
There's a few options for you.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts you can think of?
Not off the top of my head, crafting wise. I'm just trying to.
I mean, a lot of the staples, unfortunately, got moved to Wild. You know, like of course, Azure Drake is one of the big ones there.
I'll tell you what I did craft. I crafted Scavenging Hyena. Right away.
Yep.
Because Scavenging Hyena can get out of control in a hunter deck with a bunch of little beasts, and if you're opening up any Ungoro packs, you're probably going to get some low-cost beasts. So that actually worked out pretty good, because with every new account right now, you're probably going to get 6 Ungoro packs right out of the gate as soon as you finish those quests. And you'll probably get a few beasts in there that are 1 cost or close to it, and killing those off will make your Scavenging Hyena really big. So I did craft Scavenging Hyena right away. I think I crafted mostly hunter cards. Unleash the Hounds, which is now in its, I think it's Unleash the Hounds 6.0. I don't know how many times has Unleash the Hounds changed.
Yeah, you're right.
That card's been pretty crazy. Yeah, if you're a new player and you're playing with Unleash the Hounds, you're seeing far from what it used to be. Unleash the Hounds used to be insane. Then it was completely unplayable. Now it's a decent card, especially with Knife Juggler and Scavenging Hyena.
Question was, can you craft Flare? Because Flare is really good right now against secrets. Flare was a basic card, right?
No, Flare is a rare. It's the blue gem.
That's right. It is rare.
And Flare's a very good card right now. But not only does it destroy secrets, it draws you a card, and it destroys. It reveals stealth minions. And in the hunter decks, a couple cheap minions like the Panther, I think it is a 4/2, but it has stealth, and that thing can get dangerous in a basic deck or a classic deck, what have you. And having Flare is really good. I run 2 Flares in one of my hunter decks. I just happened to pull 2 of them in a pack, not in the same pack, but I got 2 of them out of a few packs, and I run 2 of them, and I keep it in my deck. Not only does it cycle through and draw cards, but it destroys secrets, and it reveals those stealth minions so you can attack them. So very good card. Flare is a very good card. Trying to think of something else. Hunter, as you're leveling it up, make sure you throw in that Animal Companion and Kill Command. Animal Companion and Kill Command are staples in almost every hunter deck. But like Vastidius said, episodes, 31 through like 38,
31 through
39.
40,
yeah,
like 31 through 48.
I remember.
Yeah, I say that because there's some in there that were not
research for those episodes.
Yeah, there were a lot. And if you want, you can go also to a website and just read through the show notes. There's a lot of nuggets in those show notes too. So
yeah, but awesome. And then, of course, if you guys can become a patron and join our Facebook group, because there is a plethora of new player information. And again, I can't say it enough. You ask a question on our Facebook group, and within 30 minutes, you have either 1, 2, or 3 amazing answers. and it's just it's phenomenal. Like you can't get away from our Facebook page without getting your questions answered. Like they are our patrons are amazing. I can't say enough about them and the way they treat each other. Like it's so cool. Like that's a community that has helped me, and they help. Oh my gosh, they help each other, and it's just great. So thank you to our patrons in that Facebook group and otherwise.
Well, also speaking of patrons, we did have a shout out for Twitter this week. We have a new follower on Twitter. His name is Wells Way, is what he goes by, and he said at LOTI podcast, best ranking ever. Thanks, guys. Ranked 12 with 4 stars, and then the Silence Priest took over the meta. Added Aldor and Iron Beak to beat it, and then he showed us a screenshot of his deck, not his deck, but his ranking of rank 12 with 4 stars. So, congratulations on that. And it was a paladin he played.
Yeah. Aldor Peacekeeper is the card that makes the attack of a minion 1, but I'm not sure what that Iron Beak is. Can you explain what?
Iron Beak's a new card.
So Iron Beak Owl is we call him Hoot, and he is actually part of the classic set, and he's silent. He's an owl that silences another minion, and we affectionately call him Hoot.
Yeah, I was joking about the new one because he was tweaked a little bit recently. In a negative way.
He was. Yeah, he lost a little bit of attack or health, or no, he costs 3 now, right?
Costs 3 now, yeah.
I can't remember yeah. But poor Hoot.
You don't see him a lot now at the moment because of some of the other good silence cards that are out there.
I still love the Hoot. I think I have at least one Hoot in every hunter deck.
Definitely. Well, speaking of also the Facebook group through the Patreon, we have one of our listeners and patrons named Will, who frequently posts the quote Hearthstone name of the day posts, and they're images of different players that he's come across with unusual names, and they're quite hilarious to read some of these names. And I think what makes them more fun is his comments on those posts. For example, this week he posted Muse was one of the players he played against. He's like, I found my Muse. And then A-Box. This week was A-Box. He said, not nearly as exciting as an Xbox.
A-Box.
A-Box. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's fun to watch what he comes up with. I mean, it's amazing some of the players he plays and the names. You're like, wow.
Yeah. I've seen some of those. Those are pretty crazy.
Yeah, so appreciate that. I mean, it's so much fun, all the different things that happen in that group. And just people in there are awesome. We love you all and appreciate having you guys with us. So
yeah,
good stuff.
Yep.
Well, I think that about wraps us up then this week. And yeah, we'll see how things work out next week.
Yeah.
But until then, play some more. Keep playing. It's a good stuff in the game coming.
Get more people to play.
And if you haven't already, you should play some Heroes of the Storm this week, because if you do, you get a bunch of loot boxes in Heroes of the Storm and Overwatch. I know some of our players do both and participate in all kinds of different Blizzard games, but I mean, how often do you get a chance to get 10 free loot boxes for both games? Not very often. So take advantage of it while you can.
Loot boxes.
Yeah, too bad you can't convert those over to all Hearthstone packs, right?
I think they ought to do that. I think we ought to go in Here's the Storm, and we should play, and then you get 10 Hearthstone packs, 10 loot boxes. You ought to get 10 of everything in every game.
Yeah, exactly.
10 set pieces in Diablo. Good stuff.
So, okay, well, that wraps us up. Thanks for joining us. If you want to join us on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/Legend of the Innkeeper. And we'll get you invited into the Facebook group where you can join in on all the festivities. And hopefully you guys will, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at info@legendoftheinnkeeper. Go to the website at legendoftheinnkeeper.com where you can see the show notes and for all the information we have shared today, along with links to the various sources. So that wraps us up this week. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks.
Good job, team.
Okay.
Awesome. Dude, good show, man. Good job on the notes, too. Those are awesome. All right. So Rez wants to do his 5 matches in Heroes of the Storm. So I am going to get out of the Skype and open up a conversation with my friends in Battle.net before I fall asleep. Because I am.
Yeah, you look like you're wiped out.
Well, I had to play tug of war with high school kids and elementary school kids and other teachers and today. And then they had the rope climbing contest. Yeah, crazy. All right. Typhoon says, I need an invite back to the group. I took a break. Should I have him email you?
That's fine.
At what should I
info,
email you?
info@legendoftheinnkeeper.com.
Okay.
Okay. Eval. Sorry, I saw you posted in chat. Sorry. I know everybody now can email you and bug you. I guess sent you an invite, so you'll have to check your Facebook notifications. So sometimes it doesn't show up in there. If you don't see it, email me and let me know at info@legendoftheinnkeeper.com because sometimes it doesn't.
All right, Typhoon is good. He should be emailing you soon. And I'm going to get out of Skype. If people are in Twitch, thank you very much. And awesome. We'll tell them, well, I guess I could tell them hello and goodbye. And good job, team. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, buddy. Okay, guys, we'll see you later. Thanks for joining.
All right.